Bang, bang. Hello. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country, coming to you from the SEC Country studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. You guys just missed it. I just sent my wife and two kids home. They came and visited the area. I bought a car yesterday, Terp. That's why they were here.
Ooh,
because I went minivan. A minivan.
Oh.
We are a minivan
what
family.
brand?
Now. Chevy. Yeah.
What is their minivan called?
The Venture.
Never heard of that.
Chevy
Sounds
Venture.
nice though.
It was nice. You know, I put off buying a minivan for as long as we could, but we got 4 kids, so we got into it and we looked around and we just loved all the room and we loved it. So
There you go.
So we're good. Randy Shumpert nails it. He says tax money. 100%. That was Uncle Sam stepping in and buying that car for me. Hail State isn't maroon; it is silver. So it's close enough. It's one of our secondary colors. So good deal. All right. Steve C says you rang in a Lurch voice. I do kind of look like Lurch today with my haircut. They called me Lurch in high school. I never got called Shrek. Of course, Shrek wasn't out yet, so that wasn't possible. I was called Lurch in high school. I was much skinnier back then. Judy Nicholson Dew says, praise the Lord and go Dogs. It's a good start to this Tuesday. It's Ties Day. Here in the... Careful there, Terp. You all right?
Yeah, just checking my audio.
Yeah, it's Ties Day here at...
Terps Day.
Terps Day
Terp
for him.
Tuesdays.
Yeah. He's wearing a Terp shirt. I'm wearing a tie. So we have our things going on here. Randy Shumpert says, laugh out loud. You look smaller, my dude. Do I look smaller today?
No, that truck says no.
I worked out last night. I lost about 60 pounds. So thank you. Thank you for noticing. Hail State from Bovina. Hail State from Ringgold, Georgia. Christopher Holly says, how's the weight loss going? Not so well. Not so good. Hail State, go Dogs, says Jessica Elm Bosley. Jake Hood says, Hail State from Detroit, Michigan. Grace Thacker Good says, Hail State from the farm. Jake Hood, Grace Thacker Good. I'm just rhyming out here. Troy Harper's on I-20. Shannon Davis is on his forklift. Shannon, have you gotten your package yet? Have you gotten the T-shirt that I sent for your little girl? Let me know. Talking about the haircut, it makes you look smaller. Well, I had the haircut yesterday. So I looked smaller yesterday as well. Today's show, this has not been a good year for me and AP voters. I'm just about put out with them. I'm just about done with AP voters. This AP vote to move Mississippi State from 2nd to 4th after losing a game in the conference championship game doesn't sit well with me. I'm going to get into that. Baseball, hey! Mississippi State baseball opening the new Dudy Noble Field tonight. I know that's exciting for everybody. Hail State baseball almost gave everybody a heart attack yesterday by saying that cowbells wouldn't be allowed, but all a misunderstanding apparently. And number 3, my third topic today, I will unveil the Brandon Walker ladder of hatred. The Brandon Walker ladder of hatred as we rank the teams in the SEC from least hated to most hated. And I'll go through the list. And I'm speaking for all State fans here because, as we all know, I am basically the face of Mississippi State. And what I say goes, right? No? Yes?
There's no rundown in my inbox.
Hannah, could you forward him a rundown, please?
Did you send it to Cowbell again?
I did. I sent it to the
2 days in a row.
I sent it to the wrong Michael. Yeah. Did getting a haircut reduce your hat size? My hat size is embarrassing. I have a gigantic head. My hat size is like 8. It's like Barry Bonds after the steroids. That's what my head is like. I was going to riot if I couldn't bring my cowbell, says D. Curtis. Bobby Strickland said Notre Dame lost as well. Did they drop? I don't know if they dropped. I know Louisville is up there. Micah Halfacre says, you are the face of Mississippi State. I love it. It's a very depressing face, I know, but it is what it is. 7 3/4 says Stephen Turner. I feel you. Yeah, I might get into a 7 3/4. First of all, I can't wear hats. I've told you that because of my ear situation. My ears are so big. I look like a car coming down the road with the doors open. I mean, it's awful. I cannot wear hats. If they don't fit on my head right, it's misshapen. I thank God for this show. I get to wear these headphones and cover these ears up because they are something. Adrian D. Brown just landed in Anchorage from Hawaii. Good to be back in the saddle, but not in the cold. You went from Hawaii to Anchorage, Alaska. That is some kind of difference right there. Wow. Did our baseball Twitter troll us about cowbells? I don't think it was baseball Twitter. I think somebody just reported they saw the policy, and it's always been no cowbells, that wink, wink. But they reported it like it was new, and it wasn't. So Buster Bones says, show the ears. No. What is this? Some sort of strip club now? No. Start throwing dollar bills at me. I'll do a little dance. The ranking doesn't matter now that we're headed to the NCAA tournament. Ryan Campbell. Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, the AP ranking is part of your profile. It is part of your profile. The committee will sit down and they'll have their own rankings, sure, but still, it's part of your national profile. And when you've earned 30-0 in the regular season, when you've earned 32-0 to start the season, and you lose a game to the defending national champs in the conference tourney, you shouldn't drop behind teams that have way less quality wins than you do. You shouldn't do it. All right. That's going to be the show. I have a 2-minute drill later today. And Terp, how you doing? You ready?
Can I give you like 20 seconds?
What am I supposed to do for 20 seconds? Just supposed to sit out here and stall for time and just talk.
Shannon said you do not see the picture that he sent of his daughter in the shirt.
Sorry,
I found it.
I didn't see it. Where is it?
It's on the inbox of Mississippi State.
Well, I didn't check the inbox.
Nice little note for you.
Oh, that's nice. I'll check it out. Check it out.
Are
you ready?
Yes.
I don't hear.
There you go.
I do, kind of, yeah.
The More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
That's me, Brandon Walker, More Cowbell. The Mississippi State Podcast, presented by SEC Country. Coming to you from the SEC Country Studios here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Boy, it's breathtaking outside. Got clouds about 7 feet above the ground. You got a drizzling rain that made the drive-in miserable today. That's fine. I'm fine. I'm here. I am doing a podcast. I am fired up. Nothing gets me more fired up than AP voters disrespecting Mississippi State. It happened in the fall with us continually being behind LSU despite beating the Orgeron out of them. It happens now. Mississippi State all season, perfect. 30-0 in women's basketball, then 32-0, then loses to the defending national champions in the SEC Conference Tournament Championship, and falls to number 4 behind teams that don't have anywhere near the resume that State does. I'm going to get into that. Then we'll get into Mississippi State baseball opening Dudy Noble Field today. That's exciting. It's been a long time coming. It's a soft opening. Definitely a soft opening. I guess the hard opening will be this week, and I'm not going to make any soft, hard jokes. I have told myself, Brandon, don't do it. All right? Don't do it. Don't make any soft or hard jokes. Because here at Cox, we don't put up with that stuff. Now, my third topic today will be unveiling the Brandon Walker ladder of hatred. The ladder of hatred. So basically, I'll look at the other teams in the SEC and I'll rank where they are on the hatred scale for Mississippi State fans right now, particularly me, because I am me. I enjoy being me, and that's how I know things. That's how I see things in the world through my eyes. And I will rank the ladder of hatred in the SEC. Number 4, we'll do the 2-minute drill, and that'll be at the end of the show, as it always is. Let's get right into it. All fall, it seemed like Mississippi State was battling for respect, not inside the conference, not with other teams or coaches, but with voters. And I really never felt like they got the respect they deserved, especially after beating LSU and spending most of the season behind LSU in the rankings despite beating them by 30. now it has reared its ugly head again. You would think going to the national championship game last year and beating UConn would give them some respect, some measure of respect. But they never earned a first-place vote this year, despite being right there with UConn, despite beating them the last time they played. And I'm fine. I talked about it, but ultimately, you understand why UConn gets the respect because they earned it. They did. They earned it. But Mississippi State goes 30-0, wins the toughest conference in the country, has 9 top 25 wins. That's 5 more than UConn. That's 3 more than Baylor and Louisville, I believe. I might be wrong. Baylor's got 4 and UConn's got 7. But that's 3 more. That's 2 more than Louisville. That's 2 more than UConn. That's 5 more than Baylor. Baylor moves to number 2. Louisville number 3. Mississippi State number 4. I just don't understand how you can take a team with the resume they have, with 30-0 in the toughest conference in the country, with 32-0 going into the SEC tournament championship game, and 1 loss knocks them back to number 4. It's just a dangerous game when you talk about getting to this time of year, because as you go into the NCAA tournament, you want to be on the other side of the bracket from UConn, not because you're scared, because you want to set up an epic national championship game rematch. You want to get to the national title game and play UConn for it all. You don't want to play them in the semis, because if you beat them in the semis, then you got to come back and beat somebody else in the championship game, and that's hard to do. We've already learned that. So you want to be across the bracket from UConn. But when you talk about AP voters putting Mississippi State at number 4, that's part of your national profile. Now, the committee will have their own opinions about stuff, and hopefully they'll be able to look at the resumes and say, hey, listen, UConn has the best resume in the country because they haven't lost, but the second best is Mississippi State. There's no doubt about it. They got 9 top 25 wins. They played more ranked teams than anybody else in the top 15, and they passed the eye test all year except for 1 game. They should be the number 2 national seed. But when you talk about AP voters, it's just a parade of ignorance every single week, and especially in women's basketball. There are 32 AP voters. And this has been a rough year between me and the voters. It really has. Football just kind of broke my spirits, and I just realized when you have humans voting on this stuff, you realize how flawed they are, how lazy they are, how ill-prepared they are. And in women's basketball, I think that problem is exacerbated even more. 1 AP voter picked Mississippi State 7th in the country. I'm not going to call her name, but she works at the Oklahoman. 7th. 32-1. SEC champions. Perfect regular season. 7th. How do you take your job seriously when you're voting Mississippi State 7th? That voter shouldn't be a voter. That person should not have a vote. That kind of laziness and ignorance shouldn't be allowed. It makes the game look bad. That's a display of ignorance that is not worthy of receiving a vote. How many of the 32 AP voters watched each game played by the top 25 last week? How many of the 32 AP voters watched each game played by the top 25 last week? I'll tell you. 0. None. Nan. Not a 1. And they're voting on these things. It just makes me mad. Everything earned by Mississippi State women's basketball. And I'm sitting here, I know I'm complaining about being 4th in the country, and I know I'm complaining about a poll that hopefully the committee will render useless. Hopefully. But it's still part of your national profile, and I just don't like it. I don't like what Vic Schaefer and this team have earned. I don't like that being taken for granted and moved back behind Baylor and Louisville, who have not earned the right to be ahead of Mississippi State. They just haven't. Mississippi State opens a new baseball stadium today. The new Dudy Noble Field, I guess it'll be half opened. The upper deck won't be finished. Everything else, I guess, is in line to be ready. The left field lounge looks good. People have moved in there. I've heard very little complaint out of the loungers so far. That's good. That is very good. It's a soft opening today. I guess we'll have the main opening very, very soon. No, Brandon, stop it. Stop it. Everybody seems relatively happy. It's a big day for Mississippi State. I think we announced this. I believe I was on the beat when this was announced in 2014. Before the regular football season, 2014, they announced this. So it's been in the works for a while. It is going to be we're going to see it today, and we'll see it the rest of the year. It's a big-time stadium for a big-time program. I know we've been through a lot lately, but it's nice to have this day to celebrate Mississippi State baseball, and everything is positive right now. I think the team did a great job of going 3-0 this weekend and kind of putting momentum on their side as they build into this, because the team has been through a lot. Can't really blame them. They've been through a lot more than most baseball teams have been through this time of year. And now they're coming home to the best home in college baseball. Good for them. I've been invited to go to the lounge later this year. I'm coming on my yearly crappie and bass fishing trip with my sons to Mississippi on their spring break, which is, I think, April 2nd through 7th. So I've been invited to the lounge by a couple of guys during the Ole Miss series. So I look forward to that. Hopefully, I don't say anything between now and then that gets that invite rescinded. But then again, I'm Brandon Walker. I'll probably get an invite somewhere. Yesterday, Mississippi State baseball, and I can't remember if it was the baseball Twitter account or Will Salmon, somebody tweeted out the Cowbells wouldn't be allowed in the new Dudy Noble Field, and people went crazy. People went nuts. I've learned lately that you got to be careful because they'll go nuts on you on Twitter. Even somebody as beloved as me, and people love me. People adore me. I mean, look at my face. It's a solid 2.5 out of 10. So people got mad yesterday when Will Salmon or the baseball Twitter said the Cowbells wouldn't be allowed. But Cowbells have never been officially allowed. It's always been a wink-wink policy, and Cowbells will be fine. You can bring your cowbell in there. Ain't nobody going to say anything to you. What's somebody in Starkville, Mississippi going to say to you about a cowbell? Nobody. Nobody's going to say anything. So that was fun. I just enjoyed watching the Twitter meltdown being on somebody else's shoulders yesterday and not on me because I accidentally said the Tennessee game would be a huge game, and I didn't say it would be a huge men's game. That was my fault because I'm sort of stupid, I guess. The ladder of hatred. Let's just go ahead and lay it out there. We play in the SEC. I love one team in the SEC, and I don't like any of the rest of them. The team I like is Mississippi State. How do you know I like them? Well, I got a helmet here. I got a bunch of cowbells here. I got a tattoo on my back of a giant bulldog soaring through the sky. I don't have that tattoo. I don't. And not because I wouldn't have it. If I had a tattoo, it would be a Mississippi State logo somewhere. But I'm terrified of needles. I'm the opposite of Steve Robertson. I am handsome, I smell good, and I don't have tattoos. But the all-new Brandon Walker ladder of hatred, I'll cycle through all 13 other SEC teams, and we'll rank them on who we hate the most. We'll rank who we hate the least, all the way up to who we hate the most. And this is my personal feeling. I don't think number one really needs much introduction. We know that. But 13 through 2 certainly need some discussion. So here we go. The least hated team by Mississippi State fans, myself, it's Vanderbilt. What's the point of hating Vanderbilt? Why would you hate Vanderbilt? I can't imagine ever a situation where I just out and out hated Vanderbilt. That's like going to a family reunion and playing basketball and hating your 4-year-old cousin. You should be able to dominate that kid. You should be able to dominate that kid, and State has, and everybody else has too. So I don't have much hatred in my heart for Vanderbilt. I don't want to say I feel bad for them because I like that somebody else is the doormat of the SEC. But I do enjoy that they're there and they give everybody else a nice win. And they've fought through and had a couple of decent years lately, but they're kind of back to it. Now, I did think about basketball and that kid hitting that 3-pointer after traveling 5 steps a couple of weeks ago, but I'm over that. Number 11, Kentucky. Can't get myself to hate Kentucky in football at all. Dan Mullen owned them. He owned Kentucky more than he owned anybody. I think he ended up going 8-1 against Kentucky, with the one loss being a Peter Sermon special in 2016. I do hate Kentucky basketball, but Coach Cal has really got his hooks into that thing now, and if he doesn't have the top 3 players in the country, he can't win anything. So I think having Coach Cal there is a nice evening thing for everybody else. It kind of evens the playing field for every other team, as long as he just has decent 5 stars and not NBA-ready 5 stars. They're not any good. So what's the point of hating Kentucky? I got Vanderbilt 13, Kentucky 11. I got Texas A&M next. I'm sorry, did I go 13, 11? 13, 12, and 11 is Texas A&M. I haven't found a way to hate A&M yet. They're weird. They're really weird. They haven't done anything to us to really stoke my fire. They haven't really bothered me yet. Plus, they're maroon and white, so I kind of enjoy looking at their uniforms. They're just a really, really weird version of us. They're like us if we had all been submitted to nuclear testing of some sort. They're just odd. But they're fine. Number 10, South Carolina. And I will tell you this. I have never in my life hated South Carolina. In fact, South Carolina has always been my least hated team in the SEC. Since they came in, I always felt a kinship to them. I always felt like they were kind of fighting the same battle we were fighting. They're fighting for respect, usually have a pretty good team. Their in-state neighbor cheats like crazy. They're fighting against that. But, and this isn't really a football thing, but then Dawn Staley entered the picture. And I just don't, that team, they're a thorn in our side. They're good. They won the national championship last year, and they just bother me. I don't like the way they handle their business. So South Carolina, based on women's basketball, has skyrocketed from probably dead last on this list to number 10. Next, I don't have anything bad to say about Georgia, really, except for living with Georgia fans is a test. There are Georgia fans everywhere. There are so many Georgia fans. It's like double Alabama. And I know that's weird, but Georgia fans are pretty much confined to Georgia, whereas Alabama fans are everywhere. But I didn't have any problem. I went to Athens. It was a wonderful time. We just got our butts beat. That was not enjoyable. And Kirby Smart, well, I don't like him. Look at his face. I don't like him. Look at that visor. I don't trust men that wear visors. I'm going to tell you that right now. So wear a hat. Wear a hat. If you're wearing a visor, you're pretty much wearing a hat anyway. You just got nasty hair sticking out of it. Wear a hat. Be a man. I can't wear a hat. But if you can, wear one. Number 8, Missouri. Again, not a team I have ever wanted to hate. They're also weird. They do weird things up there. They protests up there. They need safe spaces. That's laughable to me. That's funny. But on the field, I never hated them. Never really had a reason to hate Missouri. However, a couple of weeks ago, they were gifted a victory over Mississippi State in basketball with one of the worst calls in the history of college basketball. And it'll take me a long time to get over that. Based on that call, I hate Missouri right now. I hate them. Number 7, Arkansas. They affected us in recruiting a little bit last time, but they're another one that's just there because their fans are they're a little too much. They're a little too much. I can't handle all that calling the pigs, calling the hogs. I can't do all that. Number 6, Tennessee. I got exposed to them during the coaching search when they were searching for a coach. And we still had Mullen, and I said a couple things like, Dan Mullen will never go to Tennessee. I found out later that it got closer than I would have liked. But he didn't go to Tennessee, so I was still right. I'm still right. But I did a video saying Mullen wouldn't go to Tennessee. It got 125,000 views, mostly from Tennessee fans who were angry. But I got exposed to them, and they're stuck in the 90s, man. They're Radio Shack. They are Blockbuster Video. They are Sears. They are stuck in a bygone era, and they think they can go out. They think they're one of the top 10 programs in the country. They're barely one of the top 10 teams in East Tennessee. I mean, they're not even anywhere near what they think they are, and that's pretty much a problem with all of the teams left on this list here. They're like the Bundys from Married with Children. They're loud. They're obnoxious. They're from the 90s, and ultimately they don't have anything. Number 5, LSU. I'll just never be able to like LSU. We hate them in baseball. They bother us in basketball. They're bothering us in recruiting right now. Look at that guy. Look at that guy's face. Looks like a football with eyes. Ed Orgeron. Just not even. I just can't fathom that's a coach in the SEC. I can't fathom that. I'm very excited we're going to go down to Baton Rouge and just whip them again this year. Number 4. Have I got the numbers wrong? Yeah, I probably have the numbers wrong. Anyway, I guess I skipped somebody at some point. Number 3, Auburn. I still haven't gotten over Cam Newton. Still haven't done it. It's 8 years later, and I still haven't gotten over Cam Newton. What would have been the difference? What would have been different for Mississippi State if we had Cam Newton that 1 year? I don't know. I know that outside of Cam Newton, we were just as good as Auburn. But it's been 8 years, and I can't get over it. And Auburn fans still, you know what? You know Auburn fans. You know how they are. Number 2, Alabama. I think we all can, even the ones I mentioned so far, we can all rise up in our hatred of Alabama, yes? Yes? And it's not even the team. I don't really hate Nick Saban. He's just really, really good. He's better than everybody else. I just hate Alabama fans that believe they deserve somebody who's better than everybody else because they're Alabama. Number 1, forever the champions of this list will be Ole Miss. I can't fathom a day. I can't imagine a day where that will ever change. I could list the reasons I hate Ole Miss here on this show. But eventually we'd have to get lunch, and then dinner, and then breakfast, and then lunch again, and then dinner again. And that cycle would go on for a couple of weeks before I finally run out of reasons to hate Ole Miss. Bottom line, I hate Ole Miss, and I need everyone to know about that. And I think everybody here will agree that it's right to hate Ole Miss. It's fine. It's good. 2-minute drill. If everything was perfect, if everybody was welcome back, if everybody was in good shape, if everybody was happy, who would you have throw out the first pitch at the new Dudy Noble Field? I don't know who it's going to be. But if everything was perfect, everybody was on the same page, and you had everybody in the entire Mississippi State universe forever lined up, and you could pick one to throw out the first pitch at the new Dudy Noble, who are you picking? Somebody said this was the first time Ole Miss has been number one in anything. Wayman Hodge, that's terrific. Micah Halfacre says Ron Polk. Drew Newell says Ron Polk. Wayman Hodge says Billy Begley. Dan Freeman says Andy Cannizaro. I think he's already thrown out what he was going to throw out, and it got him thrown out. Danny E. Pinter says Brandon Walker. Danny Pinter knows the weight of my heart, doesn't he? I skipped Florida. That's who I skipped. Why didn't you stop me and tell me I skipped Florida?
Why'd you skip Florida?
I don't know. They were high on the list.
Don't forget about Florida.
Pause the 2-minute drill. All right. Well, we agree it's Ron Polk. It's Ron Polk. It seems like everybody thinks it's Ron Polk. Florida was number 3 behind, and I'm sorry, Florida was number 2 behind Ole Miss right now. It was Auburn, Alabama, and then I wrote in Florida. Not because I dislike Florida. There he is. Because I'm just tired of looking at that face now. For 9 years, I made excuses for him. For 9 years, I said, his recruiting ain't that bad. I still stand by that. His recruiting wasn't as bad as people thought. But now that he's on the other side, it's okay to hate people in sports. It's just sports hate. It's not real hate. He's theirs now. And we have got a brand new rivalry. We've got a new rivalry with Florida. We'll welcome them into Scott Field, to Davis Wade Stadium. Why am I still saying Scott Field? It's been a year. And we'll have that game September 29th. Bam. Florida, with that coach, with John Hevesy, with Billy Gonzalez, with the way they came at us in recruiting, and frankly, there are some things that happen behind the scenes that you would be shocked that Dan Mullen told recruits to try to get them to go to Florida, and ultimately the recruits said, shut up, you're Dan Mullen, we're not going anywhere. That happened, and that is a reason for Mississippi State fans to have plenty of hatred in their heart for Florida right now. And I didn't even mention Scott Strickland. I didn't mention that. Number 2 on the 2-minute drill. End scene. Number 2 on the 2-minute drill. I'll ask you, which SEC team do you dislike the least? Or which SEC team do you like the most? Which one can you tolerate? Which one is okay to you? For me, it was always South Carolina. I really kind of liked South Carolina, but then Dawn Staley came along and has gotten my dander up. I've really gotten mad at them a couple times. But who do you like? Who's the one SEC team that you're like, okay, I can handle them? Michelle Hendren says Tennessee. I don't know about Tennessee. D. Curtis says Auburn. What is wrong with you people? What's happening right now? Micah Halfacre says Texas A&M. Wayman Hodge says Missouri. Steve Martin says Georgia. Sharon Jarrett Spike says Vandy. Ginger Tuck says South Carolina. See, me and Ginger are on the same page. I think Vandy. I think it's probably Vandy. Stephen Turner says I root for Vandy because they play Ole Miss every year. Pretty good reason. I always get mad at Ole Miss for getting Vandy every year. Then I realize we get Kentucky. So what am I going to get mad for? Somebody asked me to repeat my 5 most hated teams. Yeah, I'll do that right now. Let me repeat that because I did blow it. I just absolutely blew it. LSU, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Ole Miss. That's LSU 5, Auburn 4, Alabama 3, Florida 2, Ole Miss 1. And I don't hate Florida. I now hate the people involved with Florida. Number 3 on the 2-minute drill. We had this, I sent this bracket out yesterday on Twitter, and instead of filling it out, most of you just complained about the lack of certain movies on the bracket. What's the best 80s movie of all time? Best 80s movie. And that's 80s, not 90s, because that's the next question. Best 80s movie ever. I might have asked this before, but I put the bracket out on Twitter yesterday that we actually came up, we had a guy in our office, because we do a bracket every single day, came up with 64 80s movies, and then people just killed us for it. Said, oh, Christmas Vacation wasn't on there. Okay, that's one movie. Fine. I'm just fighting my way through this. I have just royally messed this show up. Just been an awful execution. Poor effort. Dirty Dancing, says Ginger Tuck. Breakfast Club, says Eric Wiggins. Full Metal Jacket from Micah Halfacre. Boy, those are big time differences. Top Gun. I knew that one was coming. Troy A. McCullough. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, says Dan Johnson. Cindy Isbell May says, I'm an Auburn fan, but my baby girl's at State and I love it. I yell Hell State, and well, that's good. Good. Thank you. Back to the Future, Pretty in Pink, Stripes, Top Gun, Vacation, Raiders of the Lost Ark, says Danny E. Pinter. The one that won in our office was The Empire Strikes Back. That won the most. My personal favorite was Major League. It beat Airplane. Dirty Dancing with another vote. There are a lot of ladies here today. Hello, ladies. Number 4, very easy. Just go to the next decade. We did this bracket too. Best 90s movie. What's the best movie of the 90s? Terp, what do you think? Did you fill one of those brackets out?
No.
Yeah, you did. You didn't do a 90s bracket?
No.
You did the rappers bracket only.
I did rappers.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did the 90s bracket. I can't remember what I have. I had that's great. Good job, Brandon. I don't even remember what I had winning the bracket. I had Forrest Gump. Thank you. I had Forrest Gump winning the bracket. The Natural, that was in the 80s. Forrest Gump, says Michelle Hendren. Clerks by Jason Neal Galt. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by Stephen Turner. Harlem Nights, Sinbad. Forrest Gump, says Scott Carr.
I like Goodfellas. I'm going to do that.
Goodfellas, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
1990.
Varsity Blues, the best movie in the 90s, says Jamie Smith. Forrest Gump, says Landon Miles. The Sandlot, says Jordan Goose Worrell. Micah Halfacre, yes, Forrest Gump is a 90s movie. Sandlot seems to be a lot of Forrest Gumps here. Forrest Gump seems to be cruising through. I haven't heard any Shawshanks. That was in the 90s. Tombstone was in the 90s. Fight Club. There's a Shawshank. There's a Zoolander, which was in the 2000s, actually. Lion King. Casino. Good stuff. And number 5. All right, Mississippians, lean in. I'm just anxious to see what happens here. What is your least favorite town in Mississippi? It could be the town you hate going to the most. It could be the town where your ex-husband lives or your ex-wife. It could be the town where you had a rivalry with in high school. But what's your least favorite town? What town do you not like going to? Do you not like visiting? Do you just think stinks? Anxious to see what people say here. And I will not read any that say a certain town. So I'm just going to skip those. Jason Brinson says Oxford. I didn't think of that. Wayman Hodge says Columbus. Renee Hudson Presson says Oxford. Okay. What if Oxford didn't exist? Somebody says McGee. Somebody says Macomb. Macomb, Mississippi. Oxford. I'm just reading past the Oxford. Hattiesburg by Christopher Holly. Carthage, Danny E. Pinter. Brian Sisk. No. Oxford. Jackson. Batesville, because it's close to Oxford and has a lot of Ole Miss fans. Canton. Macomb with a second vote. Richland. So it looks like Oxford has taken this, and maybe I should have thought of a better way to ask that question. It should have been, what's your most hated non-Oxford town? I like Oxford fine. It's a fine little town if it wasn't for the people. The people ruin that town. All right. Good stuff. I enjoyed it today. Enjoy it always. We'll go ahead and end the podcast here. Be back with you on Facebook Live in a second. On the podcast, my name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. How did I blow that? The ladder of hatred was going so well. It was going really well. And I just blew right past Florida. Like it wasn't nothing to it. Danny E. Pinter says Oxford isn't a town, it's a disease. Best place to get chicken on a stick in Mississippi would be a good question. Everywhere. Everywhere. I know Oxford has like claimed ownership of that. They don't own that. They don't own that. That actually makes me mad. That every time they're on TV, they get shown their chicken on a stick. Oh, the Oxford chicken on a stick. All right. There's good chicken on a stick everywhere in Mississippi. Gaucher, says Steve Martin. Never been to Gaucher. You saw me pause. I just want to read that as Gaudier so much. Carthage? How dare whoever said that? I don't know that I've ever stopped in Carthage. I've driven through Carthage. I don't know that I've ever stopped in Carthage. They also claim 3 national championships. Yep, they from the Oxford Home and Garden Club and the local Harco Drugs. Grace Thacker Good says Pins. I love the chicken on a stick at Pins. I think the one in Starkville closed, didn't it? That stinks. I love that. I love Pins. When I took a trip to Mississippi recently, I stopped in Meridian, ate chicken on a stick at Pins. It was delicious. Oh, it was delicious. Hey, what's up? What are you pointing at? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh. So we got the little girl that we sent a shirt to. Sent us a picture of her wearing the shirt. Thank you for that. We got 2 more. 2 more. One's small, one's medium. Actually, the medium's counted for. We got 1 more. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to a kid though. I'm gonna give it to a kid. These are kid-sized shirts. That's good. Thank you. Beautiful shot there. Really like that. I'll figure out how to give that last shirt away. I want to give it to the kid that I met in Jacksonville, the 8-year-old who said he listened to my show every day. He was in Arkansas, and I can't remember his name. Can't remember how to get in touch with his family. I want to give it to him, but I haven't heard from him. So I'd love to hear from him. Matt McBrayer says Aberdeen. We're back on the bad towns. Yeah, Aberdeen's rough. But Wayman Hodge is from Aberdeen, so that's a good thing. We like Wayman Hodge. What is happening right now? What am I hearing in my ear?
Huh? What?
I just heard something in my ear.
What? Did you hear in your ear? You hear that?
I heard myself in my ear. I don't want to hear myself. It's down now. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Grew up there and would agree. I don't know what we're talking about. Aberdeen. Yeah, that T-shirt. That looked good. That looked good. We'll get it to another kid. I'm all about the kids here. I'm a benevolent host, and I'm all about the kids. Brandon loves the kids. They have Mississippi State men's basketball as a 4 seed in the NIT tournament. Who is they? Who is they? Who's doing an NIT bracket? Who's doing NIT bracketology? Penn's has had chicken on a stick for decades, long before anywhere in Oxford. Yeah. I don't like the fact that they have tried to take ownership of chicken on a stick. I've had chicken on a stick everywhere in Mississippi. I was having chicken on a stick. Little Dewey had chicken on a stick years ago. I don't know. I don't think they still have it, but they used to have it. And it was the only thing I would get at Little Dewey because I didn't really like the barbecue very much. Hail State from Chula Vista, California, by way of Forest, Mississippi, says Terry Banks. Those are 2 very, very different places. Landon Miles says, types out a word that I'm just not even going to try to. Schizophrenic. Is that me? Am I schizophrenic? That's not how you spell schizophrenic, is it? Somebody Google that. Not that I know how to spell it. Yeah, okay. Dewey still has chicken on a stick. Please acknowledge my hatred for Amory. I'm sorry, Ethan Fleury. I'm sorry. I will acknowledge your hatred for Amory. I am long. Junior Ray says, can we make the big dance if we get to the finals in the SEC tournament? No, that ship has sailed. We're not making the big dance unless we win the SEC tournament. That's our only way in. The reason you talk to yourself is because you only seek expert advice. Bang. Bang, bang. I like it. I don't know why I'm doing Bang Bang today, but I'm really enjoying
Keith?
it. Huh?
Chief Keith.
Does he do? Does who do?
O-Block, Bang Bang, yeah.
Oh, stop that immediately. I was going more Cactus Jack.
Chief Keith.
Okay. Brandon, if you ever get a chance, you need to go to Lorman, Mississippi and eat the Old Country Store. They have the best fried chicken, and it's a buffet. I can't say that I was dying to go to Lorman, Mississippi, but I am dying to eat good fried chicken and a good fried chicken buffet, so that might have to happen. Where is Lorman? I know Alcorn State is there. It's south of Jackson or east of west of Jackson. I don't even know where Lorman is. I think it's down southwest of Jackson. That's my guess, but I don't 100% know where it is. Can they win the SEC tournament? Alexa Lewis. All right, here's the thing. Vanderbilt and Ole Miss cannot win the SEC tournament. I think those are the two teams that are not good enough to win the tournament. Every other team in the SEC tournament can win it. State can beat any team in the SEC, and any team in the SEC can beat State. They already have. State's not going to win the SEC tournament, probably going to lose to Tennessee after beating LSU, or maybe even lose to LSU. State's not going to win it, but State could win it. This is a very, very jumbled up league. The two teams that have won it, Auburn and Tennessee, are good. They're not elite teams. They're very, very good teams, but they are beatable. They've both been beaten by far inferior teams. Auburn got beat by South Carolina. Tennessee got beat by somebody. They got beat by several teams. So somebody on that list was inferior. Lorman is south of Vicksburg. Did not know that. Not far from Port Gibson. Thank you, Stephen Stafford. Of course, you didn't explain to me where Port Gibson was. Well, what is Port Gibson? That's as far away as you can get from my hometown and still be in the state of Mississippi, just about. I also know that the people that come out of Vicksburg, I don't like them. They're my competitors. All I want for birthday, Christmas, and birthday is a women's basketball national championship. Just 6 more wins, says Sharon Jarrett Spikes. I got a birthday coming up. It's in April. But it's on a Friday.
April what?
13th.
Ooh.
It's on a Friday.
Friday the 13th,
That's
baby.
Right. I was born on a Friday. So,
didn't ask that.
I didn't care. I told you. Anyway, yeah, that would be a good birthday.
You turned 39?
Huh?
39?
26.
Oh.
26.
Turned 24 in May.
24 in May. Me and you, just two young guys
yep.
out here just killing it.
Yep.
Just killing it. What about Vivians and Weatherspoon winning the awards yesterday as the best players in Mississippi? Figured you would bring that up. The reason I didn't is it wasn't really news. I mean, I should have brought it up. I should have talked about it. But somebody said this on Twitter yesterday, and I don't know who said it. Winning it 4 years in a row should allow you to put your name on the trophy, shouldn't it? I mean, I don't know who Peggy Gillum was. I'm sure she was good. She wouldn't have a trophy named after her. But Victoria Vivians won it 4 times. You can only win it 4 times. Can we call that the Victoria Vivians Trophy from now on? It's a better name anyway. It's alliterative. I love alliterative names. Alliteration aside, though, wouldn't you rather win the NIT than lose in the first round of the NCAAs, at least this year? No, Brandon Bell, I would not. Why does this keep coming up?
Oh, there.
Sorry. Why does this keep coming up? A, we're not going to the NCAA tournament, so get that out of your mind. But if I'm given the choice of losing in the NCAA tournament or winning the NIT, I'm picking losing in the NCAA tournament.
I second that as a Maryland fan.
I did not ask, but thank you. Wonderful show. Look forward to it every day. Thank you very much. I think Nick should have won it over Q. Peter's probably better than both of them down the stretch, but it took Peters too long to get going. We could still win the SEC tournament. Oh, we could win the SEC tournament. We could. We're not going to, but we could. I'd love to be wrong, but does anybody really follow the NIT? Gamblers and fans of the teams in the NIT. If you win the NIT, yay, you're the 69th best team in the country. Nice. Yay. If you get in the NCAA tournament, you're at least showing progress. You at least give your team the experience of going to the NCAA tournament and playing in that big game. It's not even close. It's not even close. I would have much rather play in the NCAA tournament and lose one game than win the NIT. The only thing on a national level about the NIT is the name. The NCAA tournament all day. Jay Hammer says Nostradamus, huh? Did you see the last 2 games, Jay? I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm not saying, oh, we can't ever win anything. And 2 weeks ago, I would have said, yeah, I think we're one of the 3 or 4 favorites to win the SEC. But the last 2 games, scoring 54 against Tennessee and 55 against LSU, we're not where we need to be to win this tournament. And we have to win 4 games in 3 days, or 4 games in 4 days, not 3 games in 3 days like we would have if we had finished in the top 4. So we made it tougher on ourselves. NIT is progress compared to what we've been doing. I'm happy we're going to be in the NIT, don't get me wrong. It is progress. It's a step forward. And I want to win the NIT since we're going to be in it. But if you gave me the choice, I would choose NCAA tournament. Replacing Datcher with Tyler Perry next year will get us in the big dance. I don't think we're replacing with Tyler Perry. I think he's going to be busy with movies and the Medea franchise. Reggie Perry, however, the 5-star out of Thomasville, Georgia, will be on campus next year, and he'll be ready to go. Landon Miles says, I just want to win. I think we're all in the same boat with you, Landon. We're all in the same boat. We're going to get in the NIT, and I hope we win it. There. That's what I want. Tyler Perry's Big Dance sounds like a movie. It does. Medea's Big Dance. How have they not made that already? Have you ever seen a Medea movie? You have. Have you ever seen a Medea movie?
No.
I haven't either. Brandon, you okay today? Your voice keeps getting higher. It's the tie. It's too tight. I get fired up. I'm all 6s and 7s over here. Land Shark, what are we doing? We ready? Ready to wrap this thing on up? All right, let's wrap it up. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk Mississippi State sports. I might reveal another hatred bracket. I don't know. Hopefully I won't ruin it like I did today's. Until next time, my name is Brandon Walker. You've been watching More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.